Okay, so I'm back. I actually lost quite a bit of the recording. I'm not sure exactly what happened. So I'm just going to go back and kind of repeat some of the stuff that is missing. So what I did was I started with a side load float around the outside edge of the globe. So I picked up a brush mix of blue, white, and black, and I kind of went around the whole outside edge. So it started to set it in. And then when it was dry, I went in with a little bit of blue and white, and I kind of skipped it along. So I'll show you with that. So I've got a little short shader brush loaded into a side load float. And it's nice to skip a little bit of this around the outside edge. It's nice to get the blue in there a little bit for the glass. I may bring just a little bit in here and there through a little, not right on the outside edge, a little bit in closer to the gnome. So we'll let that dry. And then in the meantime, you can pick up a little bit of brown with some oxide. And just to add a little bit of color reflection and stuff inside so it's just not so dull and flat. I brought a little bit of that through. If it looks a little too yellowy, just pick up a little more brown in your brush. At the end, and it is in the notes, if you purchase the painting kit off my website, I put like a high gloss varnish on top of my globe, and then I sprinkled it with some glamour dust, and it really looked cute. Another way of doing this is there's different mediums out on the market that you could use to try to make it look a little more like glass. So I want that to dry. So what I can do is talk about the beard. So we had the beard in gray. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit more without it going fuzzy here. We had the beard in gray, so then I just took a liner brush and I thinned my white paint. And I'll just show you a little bit. It's too bad I lost some of the video. I just went in and just kind of stroked on the hairs in white for the mustache and the beard. And I did bring a little bit in behind the windshield, but I didn't bring a whole lot. You just kind of want to suggest that they're there. So once we put the window glass over top, you might see just a few, but you don't have to get too carried away. So I added the white. Make a few little nice wispy ones coming out on the black background. And then once that was dry, I went in with some black and I outlined the nose and the face, but I also pulled just a few little black hairs kind of under the nose into the mustache. And then on the beard, just here and there, kind of underneath the mustache. So on his hat, I added alternate stripes of red. And then you can go in. I'm going to turn my piece so that I'm pulling towards myself, and I'm going to add some blue stripes, just like a little pin stripe. On the white ones. His mittens are in the blue, but if you wanted to, you know, use green or any other color, feel free to change it up. Not sure you can even see those very well. So that just dresses his hat up a little bit. So my globe should be dry, so I'm going to go back in with a little bit of white. And just here and there around the outside edge. Kind of angle my brush so that I'm hitting a little more around the outside edge. So again, this is all in the notes. So that brightens it quite a bit. Then I took a liner brush and some white paint, a little bit of water, and just kind of skim on a few extra little white shines. Don't overdo these. Notice I turn my piece quite a bit when I paint, especially when you're trying to get the curves in. So there's a few little white shines. You can see with the windshield, what I did was I actually left the wood background showing through. And from the left side over, I kind of skimmed on some nice little white shines. And from the right side over, I picked up a brush mix of like brown. I found the brown wasn't quite dark enough, so I picked up a little bit of black with that and touched on a little bit from the right side coming over. So I want to talk about the tires. I just suggested the tires because sometimes if you start to get into really heavy details on your tires and you don't get it on perfect, then you really notice. But if you just kind of suggest what's going on there, it's a little more forgiving. So I started with a gray and I just kind of floated around the outside edge. So a little bit around the top, a little bit around the bottom. And then I suggested the hubcaps with a little bit of red. So I stayed in a little bit, kind of suggested a little hubcap. And then you can see the round part of the hubcap. I started with the gray. And then I just went in and brightened them with a little bit of white after they were dry. And I just hit a little bit of color on this one on the outside edge. And I also mentioned that when I actually painted these, I just kind of washed them in with the black. I didn't want to get too heavy with the black because if I did, I was worried that I would lose those little etching lines. So by washing it in, I could still see those lines. And then once your tire is done, if you want to go in and kind of deepen your black a little bit here and there, all you have to do is slightly thin your paint, your black paint with a little bit of water, and just kind of wash it on. Thin your paint, because if you don't thin your paint and you start to put it on, too heavy and too thick, you're going to see kind of stop and start lines. But if you wash it, you can mop it or just pat it out and it'll blend in a little bit easier. So that was it for the tires. We've got the little running board here, super easy. I'll just blend through a little bit of brown. I'm staying with my round brush. And then while it's wet, bring through a little bit of black just to shadow it. I'm not even reading my notes, so hopefully I'm using all the right colors. And actually, I've got a little bit of wood still showing through that acts like a highlight. I like it, so I could leave it. If you didn't, if you wanted a little bit more, just drag a little bit of warm white through it while it's wet. And then same thing, this is the back of the convertible. So I just brought some brown through it. If you like to side load float, you could certainly do that. I'll just wipe my brush, pick up a little bit of black, and kind of shadow and streak it through against the globe. And it's a little light from the left side. Again, my wood is showing through, but if not, pick up a little bit of warm white and just blend it through. So I've tried to pretty much cover everything on this. I didn't do the gloves, the license plate. Those are super easy, all in the notes. So you can finish that kind of stuff on it. If you wanted to add some sparkles here and there, you can. I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see it all. There we go. So again, with the globe, once, I would paint his mitts and everything, and then I would either put like a high gloss varnish on it, add some glitter. If not, there's Triple Thick by Deco Art that might work really nice on it as well. It would be a little more raised. Just noticing I didn't do the headlights either, but those are super easy. They're just shaded and highlighted. And then add whatever you like to the license plate. I put Joy on mine. And enjoy. So thanks everybody for watching this. I hope you really enjoyed it. And I hope if you order this little wood cutout that you enjoy him on your Christmas tree, your wreath, or wherever you decide to display him. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon.